What is the most OP build for Hilda in Fire Emblem Three Hopes? I'm sorry for the wait, but she's finally here, and you're not going to want to miss this one. Let me know in the comments section what character you want to see next. Hilda has a lot of strong abilities. This gives us many possible routes for her build. In fact, Hilda has so much damage potential that I named her Hilda the Destroyer. I have great news. I decided to build Hilda as a Great Knight. That means today's video isn't going to be a sword character. Cheers all around. Seriously though, Hilda's damage not only rivals some of the strongest characters I've built, but it surpasses many of them. Hilda's weapon of choice is the Kugel. This devastating axe comes with the Overwhelm ability. Overwhelm increases damage against the enemy stun gauge. For once, this isn't the main reason for using this weapon. It's actually due to Apocalyptic Flame. More on that in a moment. Our accessory is going to be the Lamppost Shield. We need the Nullify Cavalry effect for this build, otherwise, certain enemies are going to be a huge problem to deal with. The battalion we're going to use this time is Resist Archers. Battalions give you some resistance against a certain enemy type, but they also give us a 1 tier greater advantage against that enemy type. We're going to need that advantage against archers because their abilities knock us back even when most other abilities are glancing blows. Now, as for our combat arts, we're running Apocalyptic Flame and War Strike. Apocalyptic Flame is given to us via Kugel. And holy crap, is this a strong hitting ability. Our second ability is War Strike, which hits even harder, but this is mainly because that combat skill gets a damage bonus from attacking literally anything. As for Hilda's unique abilities, Lightning Bound gives us the ability to charge our strong attacks. This greatly increases the damage and adds the lightning attribute. If that wasn't enough, while charging this strong attack, all the surrounding enemies will be drawn in right on top of Hilda. This allows us to round them all up right before our powerful strike. Our second ability is called Advocate. When Hilda's adjutant is a member of the opposite gender, this greatly increases the adjutant gauge fill rates and damage dealt by the adjutant follow-up. And finally, Delicate Flower gives us a 50% damage boost when ordering this unit to seize. Now, as for our class abilities, Impregnable is the main reason we picked Great Knight for Hilda. This prevents us from being knocked back while we're performing a strong attack. This seems to work most of the time while charging that strong attack too. The exception seems to be archers. That's why we chose archers on our battalion. Our last class ability, Lance Buster, gives us a 95% damage boost against lance wielders. Now, we move on to our abilities, and as usual, watch till the end to find out where I got each one. Axe Prowess level 3 increases our damage by 30% while wielding an axe. Wild Abandon greatly increases our damage dealt, but at the cost of greatly increasing damage received. Undaunted greatly increases our damage dealt to enemies even further, but prevents the unit from guarding. Luna makes it so when we attack enemies, they incur a defense reduction based on our luck stat. Soul is also based on our luck stat, but it restores HP instead when an enemy commander is defeated. Battle Instincts is too strong to leave off of our list of abilities, since it increases the fill rate of both our Warrior Gauge and Awakening Gauge until one of them is completely filled. Big Game Hunter gives us a damage boost against enemy commanders, and let's be honest, we don't need the boost against trash mobs. Offensive Tactics gives us another 20% more damage as long as our battalion is still active. Darting Blow increases the amount that successful attacks fill our Awakening Gauge. And finally, last but certainly not least, Nullify Armored Effect. This ability gets rid of our damage weakness as an armored unit. And if you remember, our accessory nullifies our weakness as a cavalry unit. This means that we have no major weaknesses despite the Great Knight having the worst weaknesses in the entire game. Which brings us to our stats. Hilda requires as much strength as she can get. This is by far the most important stat. HP and defense are also very important. Normally, I would say speed and dex are important too, and although they're not bad to have, our numbers are not high enough to realistically take advantage of what they offer. Nor do we need to. While leveling Hilda to get these very stats, you're going to want to split your levels into two classes. You want 60 levels as a Wyvern Lord to gain a major boost to HP, Strength, and a minor boost to Defense. Then level Great Knight 60 levels to get a major boost to your HP and Defense with a moderate boost to Strength. You should max out your HP for sure, and then your Strength and Defense should be both roughly over 100. Since Hilda is such a strong character, if you choose to use stat gaining items, my recommendation is to max out her strength and add a boost to her res. It wasn't worth boosting her resistance at the cost of her other stats, but if you're just giving her stat items, resistance will allow us to survive much better against mages, which normally can do some serious damage to us. And now for the gameplay loop. Hilda has a lot of power, and as such, your combat abilities hit really hard. What I like to do is save my combat abilities for commanders with bows and tomes. For some reason, a lot of the bow combat skills knock us out of our charge attack, even though normally we could stand our ground. On the other hand, tomes can do us some real harm, since our resistance stat is so naturally low. So the idea is to knock those units out as quickly as you can with your combat arts. As for everyone else, what you want to do is use a combo followed by a fully charged strong attack. Then once that attack goes off, charge your class ability to full charge and attack again as the commander lands on the ground. This will knock them back and do some extra bonus damage. If by some miracle the commander lives, just do another charged combo to finish them off. Of course, your warrior specials and awakenings can get thrown in at any time. The awakening gauge, when being supported by all of your stun gauge damage, results in fast critical rushes, which then leads to you getting a lot of warrior specials. Hilda suffers from the same thing a few of our strongest characters suffer from. You actually have too many things to use, and all of them do devastating damage. Now let me show you where we got each ability. Axe Prowess level 3 is learned from Fighter, Armored Knight, and Warrior. Wild Abandon is learned from Brigand. Undaunted is gained via Wyvern Lord. Luna is from Great Knight, Soul is from Falcon Knight, Battle Instincts is from Bow Knight, Big Game Hunter from Mortal Savant, Offensive Tactics from Wyvern Rider, Darting Blow from Pegasus Knight, Nullify Armored Effect is from Great Knight, and our War Strike combat art is from Warrior. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe for more builds to come.